Roy, welcome to the dirt.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you here, man. So tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why we all need to learn, lean in, and listen.
So my name is Roy Cohen. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO of Fetcherr. And Fetcherr is an Israeli AI company, but in AI I mean a cool new way to bring generative AI into real businesses. And in Fetcherr, we have been working very hard to bring the heart and soul of algo trading, what we hear all the time on the magicians in the hedge funds, into real life businesses. And we started 5 years ago and doing very well.
Yeah, so you started 5 years ago, doing well. You've got new products. You've raised sufficient amounts of capital. You are rocking and rolling worldwide. What's the biggest difference between Fetcherr today and Fetcherr, a couple years ago?
So we are four founders and we've been around. So our age is not a typical startup entrepreneur that you will find over here in Israel. Mm-hmm. And the main difference between us and Fetcherr in 2018, it was not Fetcherr, we bootstrapped it, but in 2019 when we started, and today, it's a totally different company. We started as a B2C company, and very on the same tech. And very fast we understood that our market is B2B. So one of the major things that we did is pivoted. And we have been pivoting endlessly to find the right market and the right solution to use our technology. Fetcherr back then was the four of us. Today we are 90 people, offices from the States to Europe to Israel. So it's a totally different company in the way it works internally. And we scaled it up very gently because scaling up has its own issues. But today, you might say we have a very strong team and doing amazing things.
So given the increasing importance of just generally data analytics and decision making and models that are more more algo driven and all of these things, how does Fetcherr position itself in the competitive landscape today?
So what we are bringing to the industry is something completely new. So we see the industry, and I'm now talking from a very, very high level, okay? As we call it, you have systems out there that are auto ML, basically. And in our spec, let's say in our first product, the pricing product, okay? In auto ML system that they may use some kind of neural networks, they may use a lot of things, but they take the history or the transactional history of an organization and see how the human being reacted. And from that, they predict or forecast to the future. And there is a major flaw that was seen in COVID. When you have a new instance in the industry, they don't know how to handle it because it never happened in the past. What we brought in is a completely new tech that looks at not what the human being reacted or acted, we see the market and all aspects of the market. So this is the LMM, large market model, right? In algo trading, most of the companies, if not all, they are very good or they're specializing in a certain niche and they got there first. The ingenious idea of my partner, Dr. Uri Yerushalmi, was let's build a model that understands an entire geography. So, and everything in that geography, from politics to commerce to competition, in all aspects, in all industries. And once we understand that, we take the private data of the organization along the history and see what were the correlations. And then we predict to the future how the market would react. These two aspects between many vendors out there that are doing AutoML or forecasting upon the future, we focused upon the right now. It's a whole new approach of how to, and all new technology, how to generate what the market will do. And this is what we are doing, basically.
Now you guys were recently got a pretty big award, right? You were announced as the world's best travel tech startup, if that's correct, right?
Yeah.
So what does that mean to you and what you guys are building, and why do you think the world announced you as number one?
The technology. So the reason why you are number one is we have been able to overcome technological barriers that were not overcome in the last 50 years in the airline industry. And our results in the airline industry are nothing like any other system out there can produce. And that's why. And that's why many airlines, many people within the industry voted for Fetcherr, because the way that we handle ourselves, the way that we speak, the way that we provide solutions is completely different than any other vendor out there providing solutions. Mm-hmm. And I believe the industry saw us and chose us as the leading in that, let's say, notion, idea, path.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that are being done are the same as they've been for a while, right? You've got Amadeus and Sabre and all these folks who've been traditional, kind of leaders in the data side of the industry. Do you guys partner with those folks? Do you replace them? How does the go-to-market work?
We do not partner or replace anybody. Okay. The way that we work when we come to any kind of organization is we piggyback their architecture and we automate all the legacy insufficiencies. It's on the organization to choose if they want to replace or not. We are working alongside with those systems today, because not all organization will want to break tiles on day one with a startup like us. So the tech or the product can work alongside any other legacy system out there as a pricing system, alongside revenue management, on top of the architecture of Amadeus or Sabre, or it's very agile system, or they can use our new product, our inventory control system. So we are not replacing what they are doing today. We are just turbo boosting what they cannot do.
Got it. Yeah, and being an early entrant into what you guys are doing in such a game-changing way can be extremely exciting, but also extremely challenging. So there's a lot of education, right, that comes with it. So, let's start there. How do you go about educating the market about your product?
First of all, we don't speak about Fetcherr. So we will not glorify. We are, every time that we go out, and we don't do that very often, we provide content. And you will check our website, and every kind of meeting that we have with airlines, we are not here to sell immediately. That's not our purpose. Okay, of course we are a commercial business, and the Fetcherr system will not be sold to all airlines. Our main idea is in the last 5 years, is to provide content, to provide case studies, to provide white papers on the technology, because and going into shows, doing this kind of podcasts. LLM and ChatGPT helped us a lot, taking this tech out. So we can see from Jan, all industries are very open because it's tangible. They have seen it. And it's not magic anymore. It's real. So depends. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, our effort changed along the way, but Gen AI helped us a lot.
So what strategies have you guys employed to help build that trust and credibility beyond like the types of content, like you mentioned, case studies and talking about the technology? But is there anything else that you're needing to do to,
Yeah.
really educate the market as a whole about the need?
About the need,
Yes.
once they see the results, they understand the need, because the industry has, many industry has, if it's not broken, don't fix it mentality. And once you show that, listen guys, you are basically living on the ground, 5, 10, 15, 20% of wasted demand, and you validate that in a very scientific way that is acceptable with all the stakeholders in those organizations. Once they realize that, okay, we know somewhere in the back of our head there is a problem, okay? But there is no, as the industry say, there is no solution. So these guys that came from Israel, they said they have a solution. We are a multi-billion-dollar company. Prove it. So we've been proving ourselves for the last 4.5 years, but not anymore. The tech has been validated. There you see the rewards. So it was a roller coaster journey.
How do you guys measure the ROI of your solution? Obviously, case studies are a big part of what you've been doing from an education perspective. But where is the core ROI of implementing Fetcherr?
On the customer side, and we made them. It was a funny mistake. We never believed that, because we were. We didn't believe that the tech, because everybody's saying there is no chance, everybody's doing 2%, 1%. So we created a fake glass ceiling to ourselves, and with that we priced, and the ROI for our customers is less than 10 months for 5 years use of the system. So the returns are because of the way that we measure, and it's not year on year. It's much more accurate because it's a real-time system. It's like NASDAQ measuring the profit on shares, okay? And ROI, it's very fast.
Yeah, and sounds like immediate returns, but also
immediate returns,
the
quantified,
long game.
validated, immediate returns. Yeah.
So, and you guys are you guys really don't have any competitors out there, correct?
We do,
Okay.
but we have competition in the, let's say, legacy versus or ML versus neural networks, reinforcement learning, explainable AI. So you have two
alternatives, right?
Alternatives, yeah.
And that can be, that can be a double-edged sword, right? Because you're the innovator, but also, people are stuck in their old ways, and it's not like a lot of people are doing what Fetcherr is doing in the way that they're doing it. So how has this affected the way that you've been able to grow the business?
Very hard. We said a lot of no to customers because we are looking for the trailblazers. We know for history, if you have a customer that the entire stakeholder of the organization will not want to adopt, we work in these kind of organizations. Okay, we know the politics, we know IT departments. So we are choosing customers. We spoke with more than 150 airlines. Okay, we are choosing the right customers, and we were very lucky to have brave, amazing partners like Azul, like Virgin. So, and a few more that I cannot say, but these are trailblazing companies, and they are now reaping the rewards of being first.
The innovators working with the innovators.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you stay ahead of the curve when there's nobody else setting the pace, when you're the one setting the pace?
You need to basically look over your shoulder every day and think about new things to do every day to push forward. Like we started we decided once Gen AI went out, and we knew LLMs before the big declaration. So we started playing with that, and instead of using explainability as we have in our system via graphs, we're now using via ChatGPT, whatever. LLM for us is a commodity, and it's amazing. Our engine can use explainability in language instead of graphs, and it's going to be the first ERP system or the first enterprise system that you can operate the system using language.
That's
These kind of things.
Awesome. Very, very, very innovative. And when you look at where some of that innovation has spun out from over the last 5 years, I believe you had a pivot pretty early on, right? Can you share a little bit about the moment maybe you realized that pivot was the right one for Fetcherr, and what that was?
So I'll tell you what was the plan in my mind when we started. Okay, it's ChatGPT today, but much more, but for real life. Buy me this product, buy me that product on a B2C level. Okay, and I understood that the market is too fragmented, and the powers we're talking about 2019, pre-COVID. Okay, and the power in the industry, I understood we are too early. That was what I understood. But where I understood that, because when you open a startup, there is the hype of the product, but you need to also understand where the market is. And every day you learn the market. You meet people, you meet companies. We are not airline people. We are not travel people. And literally, we stumbled upon the travel industry, and we saw something that nobody from us, all four founders from our history, because I came from product e-commerce. We moved from cash-based, query-based, manual to omnichannel. Algo trading from the 80s. Today it's nanoseconds trading, media and advertising. And all of us never knew that outside of our industries, there is old legacy. We were shocked. And I saw the opportunity. And if you see an opportunity that it's better, easier than what you had in mind, you need to be brave enough to pivot such early on and call all of your investors and tell them, listen, guys, we made a mistake. There is a better way. And not many CEOs can do that.
Yeah.
Early on, 10 months after we started.
And what was the original plan?
The original plan is to have an app. It was all supposed to be a B2C app company.
Okay. So B2C, B2B transition, calling your investors.
Changing everything, changing all the commercials, and basically restarting Fetcherr after a year when we started Fetcherr.
What were some of the challenges that you faced that led to that decision?
The notion that I will need to raise huge amounts of money and spend them on marketing for conversions instead of building a product and building a company. And it moved to an ARR company instead of a business company. And it's another company out there. And we didn't want to be another company out there because we knew the tech is magnificent. And we knew the capabilities. We thought we knew the capabilities. We learned a lot more because it's research. That was the reason.
And did your investors, once you called them up and say, hey, listen, new plan, right? What was the reaction on the other end of it? Because obviously investors love making more for their money, and when you raise money, more money, you get diluted, or you put more money in.
Or
right?
The second reaction. There was a first reaction and a second reaction. The first, what the F are you talking about? That was the first reaction.
Click.
Click, exactly. But you do that, you cannot say, I was wrong here, without saying where I'm going. So I came with the first customer, the first airline, when I did the flip. And with the complete plan, how we take the same tech, because the same tech can be B2C, B2B, it can work in any industry. And the main thing that my partners helped me convince was the core tech and everything we did so far, it was not for waste. Instead, the development so far of the technology convinced us it can be better in B2B than B2C. So we were put the emotions aside of investors. Mm-hmm. We were needed to put and bring it to the logic side of the decision by putting on the table a new roadmap, a new plan. And that's what we did.
And a roadmap and a new plan that ultimately gave them a better return, right?
Much better. They're happy now.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. How did so we talked about you, we talked about investors. How did the team manage the transition from B2C to B2B?
Thank God I have amazing partners. And we were all the four of us aligned immediately. Because we understood when I came to them and said, guys, we are wrong. Mm-hmm. We need to change. So it took us about 3-4 days to sit among ourselves to understand why we are wrong, to understand what to do. And, you know, among the four of us, we have about 100 years of experience. And it was not hard sell for me to convince them.
Were there any initial internal resistances or partner challenges that you had to overcome?
There are always partner challenges and there are always internal resistance that you have to come. We are four. But I believe that if you put something on a pragmatic way, not illusions, visions, because to take someone from the comfort place, you know, we said to our investors, we raised a little bit of money, we are happy. Why shake the boat?
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm a type of person that will always shake the boat. But I needed to show it in a very pragmatic way what will happen step by step with my partners, with my investors, with my customers. We're not talking about when you're trying to do, I'm talking about myself, when I try to do this kind of massive change, I lay the ground. I did a SWOT to show them where are the risks. You know, you need to be putting emotions aside. You need to build in any kind of any change. What are the benefits and what are the risks? Because there are risks in any kind of change that you do. And how can you calculate the risk?
Do you have any ways that that you tend to gravitate towards to better calculate risks?
Yeah, but I keep it to myself.
Well, not today.
So I never stop learning about everything. And I read about all the industries out there, all the amazing startups, and looking for ways to make my business better. And it's all about knowledge and data. Mm-hmm. End of the day. If you want to calculate something, you need to have a cold calculation and to have a brave decision. So what I did is, okay, I checked 7 industries before I chose travel. Each industry I did a list, a SWOT, why, yes and no, pros and cons. Literally, this is what I did. It took me 3 months and said, okay, I said pragmatic, right? Why travel? Why not banking? My partners are coming from the banking industry. Why not e-commerce? Why travel? Imagine the decision to go to travel for people that never, instead of buying something on Expedia or calling my travel agent, that's our interaction with the travel industry. So it was a mess. It was, okay, we are changing to B2B, but we are going to work with airlines. It was a hard sell, but the data was there. The data showed that it's a monopolistic industry controlled by very large organizations, that the innovation is lacking innovation from the VC side, the private equity side, in investments and in startups for the last, 5-6 decades. I saw that as low-hanging fruit. Else see that as an entry barrier. It's all a different kind of mindset.
So speaking of a different kind of mindset, something that you and I both share is a relentless focus on unit economics. And when I say that, I mean a heavy emphasis on both cash and profitability, not just on ARR or recurring revenue of some sort, right? Which is incredibly important, but not the only thing, right? And so and I think a lot of businesses get lost in that ARR versus EBITDA, we'll call it, quandary. And you've mentioned in the past that focusing solely on ARR can be misleading as well. Can you elaborate on why? Why I guess what you think of what I just said, and why that is your core focus.
So I believe I never believed in ARR. I studied ARR in uni or in my master degree. I know exactly what it means and how to do it, and I can be an accounting magician and create ARR that everybody will smile. But we are here to build a business.
Right.
What does it mean to build a business? So my mindset is investment is for the business to grow. My KPI is not the next round. My KPI is to be cash positive. That's my only KPI. Turnover. Turnover is the decision if your business will be successful or not in my eyes. Okay? On day one, I said Fetcherr will be cash positive within 5 years. And we are getting there. We'll be there next year. Now, I'm not chasing investments. I never chased and build a business to have a magnificent round. I build a business on my cost. Well, to open, I was, let's say, I was not rich enough to hire Israelis. So I opened Fetcherr Poland. Okay? And we don't sit, we have a very nice office, but it's not in Tel Aviv. It's 25 minutes from Tel Aviv. So the rent is 30% from Tel Aviv's price. And the way that we work, okay, we came here to do a job. When you come to do a job, in my eyes, is we will not find $1,000 per square foot in our offices. Nobody cares. And the way that we hire the team is motivated to make the company cash positive around everybody. Our balance sheets, our plans, the way that we price, okay? It's a cost plus organization. It's in ARR to go to those, okay? And imagine at the start, when I said I come to VCs, we are an EBITDA-based company. Nobody knew what I'm talking about. Nobody knew. In 2019, when you go to a VC, you are an EBITDA, what's your ARR? Said we are not a SaaS company. We are an enterprise company. ARR doesn't meet our strategy. The main goal is for every CEO out there, make sure that you have a plan because the markets will change. We passed COVID in the airline industry. We survived. We passed the ARR crash. We survived. We are now passing what in Israel. And we are doing, because the way that we build a business is to be very strong, and we can survive without investments anymore. But we planned for the moment that the market will go dark, that the market will change, because we know what happens in history. And when you have a startup that is based on a business, not based on getting the next investment, and it's a totally different mentality. We price everything. We will not take a losing customer. We will say no to customers. We will get just the right customer that brings profit.
And when you found the right investor, right? Because you obviously you've raised a sufficient amount of capital. What were the requirements? Because there's requirements on both sides, right? And everyone always focuses on the investor's requirement, but what were your requirements in looking for the right investor?
So in Fetcherr, and I'm sure it's published the amount of money that we raised so far. And if you see the amount of money that we raised to the valuation, it's like this. Now this is an EBITDA-based startup. If you go to an ARR-based startup, it will be here investment and here valuation at the time of age of company like us. So all of my investors are right now on the green side of their investment. All of them. And we have only one VC in our cap. The left lane that probably joined us this year. To that date, friends and family, high nets friends, but we were always with visionary entrepreneurs that are friends of ours that supported us from day one. It's very hard to go to VCs with a crazy idea like ours when we started, because nobody believed us. So it's very, and again, when you go to those high nets, they don't understand ARR, they understand the business. So it's when you speak to them, okay, and these are tech billionaires, but they understand business language, not VC language. Because we are business language people, it's easier for us to go there. Today, it's very easier for us for the VCs and Ps because they are now checking. Everybody wants revenues, everybody wants profits, everybody wants EBITDA right now. So the market has changed.
Yeah, markets have caught up to you. So that's good. You mentioned that you guys are based in Israel, and there's obviously a lot going on in and around Israel. How you've got a pretty at the same time pretty prevalent startup market in the area. I think it's number 2 to San Francisco. Like that could be off, but okay. So I'm pretty sure it's like right up there with San Francisco. And but now people are starting to get called up into the military, and people are electing to jump in to what's going on. And all of a sudden, a lot of companies are without some of their core people, including some of their CEOs. What is the community doing over there, and how does that look?
For us, I believe, I'll say for us in our amazing community in Israel, for us because we have Fetcherr Poland, all of our R&Ds out there. So Fetcherr per se was not interfered with what happened. Personally, yes, of course. But the community in Israel, like us Israelis, when in time of need, we are together. So myself, everybody that I know, because I have friends, we are helping each other as much as we can. And you will see on LinkedIn, even people that are been enlisted, when they have a break, they will do something for their company. They will go on meetings. And that's Israelis. Our spirit is, and this is the Israeli starter spirit, and the spirit of Israelis, there is always hope. And we will always need to achieve our best to reach that hope of peace. And you will see the investors abroad, the investors in Israel, many startups were in a mid-round, end of a round, and you know what it means. So we have amazing investor community that are now helping. I saw today on the news, $100 million SOS investments from US investors, because this will end and the Israeli tech community will strive, but it's amazing to see the unity. It's heartwarming to see the unity. Everybody is doing whatever. You see people that are 60 doing code to replace 25 that were enlisted. So it's amazing.
Yeah, that is. I mean, unity is what Israel and our world in general needs right
so
now.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome. That's awesome
No
to hear.
politics, no left and right. Just be
You
one,
know,
unite.
yeah, and I try to stay away from that as much as I can on this show, but
We
it's
also.
it's 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 hard, right? Like it's hard to separate what goes on from business
Imagine
because
my
it's so
calls with
affected.
customers and investors in the last month. What was the starting?
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I
And then
can't
you need to
imagine,
switch.
but
You need to
yeah,
switch and go
right,
in business mode.
right, right, right. And so what has you the most excited about life, business, whatever coming into this next year?
We have some new surprises coming out. You know, how we innovate in Fetcherr internally, okay? Because it's a startup. The startup is innovation. But no, in a startup, you will do an MVP. People will like it and will start buying it, okay? And you will stop developing because
Mm-hmm.
you are all preoccupied with onboarding and you lose market. You will lose market share. So in Fetcherr, I created the Fetcherr lab that I handle. And I have my small team and we bring crazy ideas and we see what sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a startup within a startup. Okay, and we see what sticks with the customers. We see what sticks with our dev team. We see what sticks with our AI team, with our chief AI. This is how the LLM came out. We have a few more, let's say, non-airline customers that are coming out. That we are going to do some magic over there to boost the entire industry. But yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, that is
I
exciting,
cannot
and
say more than that.
yeah, I know you can't, but I can't wait till you can. So we'll have to do a part two of this
Stay tuned.
in 2024. Awesome. Well, it's time in the show where we hop into what I like to call the Founder Five. So it's 5 quick hit questions about you and your growth. And the first one is the number one metric or KPI that you're relentlessly focused on, which we may have already talked about, but say it anyway.
The only one as a CEO is to make sure that my company is self-sufficient. That's my only KPI from day one. I want to make Fetcherr and I'm going to make Fetcherr self-sufficient.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. All right, a top tip for growth stage founders and CEOs like yourself.
Manage the scale up. Manage the scale up. This is the many companies, myself included. I failed miserably when I was younger in a scale up. You overhire, you overspend, because you are excited. Manage the scale up. My teams, I need to hire 50 people tomorrow morning. Okay, you have 5. Manage it.
Right, right.
This is because you get a lot of money in your bank and I have a lot of money in the bank, let's spend it. But think of the next 24 months, not tomorrow morning. Think about
Mm-hmm.
the near future. The market is very volatile. It's okay for today, for tomorrow it's 180 degrees. You need to
Mm-hmm.
be on your toes all the time and manage the turnover.
Okay, so what is the next one is what is a favorite book or podcast that has helped you to grow?
Your podcast.
Oh, I'll take it. Nice plug, thank you.
Eh,
What else?
Favorite book of. Let's go to movies.
Go to movie.
Movies
Yeah, do
go.
it.
Field of Dreams.
Ah, that's a
If you
good
build
one.
it, they will come.
They will come. As long as you show them the way. All
Exactly.
right. So next one is a piece of advice that counters what one would consider traditional wisdom.
It's a good question. Always try to be the outsider.
Love that. Yeah, that is definitely against traditional wisdom. So that's a good one.
Yeah.
All right, final one here. What is going to be the title of your autobiography?
He retired in peace.
Say that one more time.
He retired in peace.
He retired in peace. That's a great way to end our show. You've given so much to our listeners today, Roy. So
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for the opportunity.
Yeah, and I time for a little bit of self promotion. You know, how can those listening help you out?
As I said, my passion in life is to learn and educate myself from everybody around me. So I see even this right now as an educational experience, and thank you for that. So that's why I see life. Okay, everywhere I go, it's an opportunity to learn something new, and I wish for everybody to learn something new every day. It's the most important thing in life is to educate yourself as much as you can.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And if anyone wants to get in touch with you, what's the easiest way to do so?
Fetcherr, you have on our website. We have a very nice website. You have all the details how to reach out to Fetcherr.
Okay, and
To
it's
reach me directly, it will
Fetcherr.ai.
not do very good because there are teams and people that will yell at me if I answer directly.
So Fetcherr.ai though, correct?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Or .io.ai.com, they all will come to the right place.
All right. Fetcherr.com, Fetcherr.ai. Thank you, Roy, for joining us. And
Thank you, and
go ahead. Sorry, Roy.
I wish that normality will come back.
Yes. So here's to normality plus. How about that? All right. Thanks everyone for listening in, and join us next time on The Dirt. Roy Cohen, everyone.
Thank you so much.